Hi guys, Gavin here on a Friday evening, just about to go out for a steak meal and possibly a small glass of wine. Just recently I've been asked by a number of few people why I compete and why I put myself under such levels of torture and why do I do it. A lot of people have said it looks very stupid, it looks a bit OTT, the tans look a bit crazy. Some people say they just wouldn't entertain it themselves, and for many people the idea and thought of going on stage in front of hundreds of strangers just doesn't appeal. So today we live in a very aesthetic conscious world, a very image conscious world of that, and one thing I've noticed, especially with the birth rate and growth rate of social media, and with so many people now looking online for body perfection, I feel that the only way I can really get my voice across as a trainer is by practicing what I preach and take it to the extreme level, that is physique competing. And my story in fitness stemmed from when I was 13 years of age. So 13 years of age, got my first set of dumbbells, started my first paper round, I started self-employment at the age of 14 and hit the gym quite hard when I was about 15. And I didn't start physique competing till I was 29 years of age. And so many people now get into it at a younger age. Personally for me, I didn't really care too much about it, if I'm honest. For many years I knew it existed, I knew bodybuilding and physique competing existed, but I just generally wasn't interested at all. My background's sport. I was into martial arts, various martial arts from a young age. I've been a big fan of boxing, fight sports, and I used to play rugby and used to partake in regional and national athletics as well. So as a teenager I was very active, very sports focused, and also very body focused as well. So I was very conscious about my body. I was very skinny at school, spotty. It's a bit like Screech off Saved by the Bell. And in my early 20s I became a bit more fixated on nutrition. Just started in the industry as a personal trainer and a fitness instructor at the time, and I learnt more about lifestyle, nutrition. And in recent years I've looked and studied more into mental health and the mindset, the powerful impact the mindset has upon oneself, and obviously the negative effects it can have on the body, but also the positive effects it can also have on the body if used in the right manner. So this is something I will talk about quite a lot in my videos, is the power of the mind, because some of the strongest, toughest people I come to meet on the exterior look great, but they're very weak in the mind. So coming back round to the reason why I got into physique competing, I remember going through my whole 20s being quite comfortable in my body, not too self-conscious. I spent too many years of my teenage years being very self-aware and insecure. I spent my teenage years spending a fortune on supplements and fancy glossy magazines, to come to realise that in my early 20s, if I just got my nutrition right, identified with a few plateaus and just generally trained that extra bit harder, things can change. So they did. And in my mid-20s I was very comfortable in myself again, and I actually put a lot of body weight on, body fat especially, during my 20s, mid-20s at that, because I started doing more strength training, more strongman activity, and generally just enjoyed my fitness. I just enjoyed and loved lifting weights. Now I got just under 18 stone at one point, and I remember exhibiting my brand at Body Power, and this was 2015, and I recognised that the whole fitness market had changed. It was all about six packs and body image. Now to me, I've always focused on function, and I can do pull-ups, push-ups, plyometrics, jumps, power lifts, cleans, deadlifts. I can sprint, I can run a mile, I can put my body to most things. when I was younger, I could do backflips, roundhouse kicks, a whole host of different sporting activities. And now people just train for image. So I do see a lot of people with poor symmetry and no real focus in the gym other than frontal muscles, and I see a lot of people with poor posture and just general bad health as well as a result. So I felt that in myself, when I was at that exhibition show, that I needed to get with the times, and also I recognised that I probably had the most body fat on my stand in comparison to all the other individuals and athletes working alongside me. And I heard one comment from someone who competes today, and the comment was quite harsh, and they're quite a popular face in the industry. I'm not a person who would name and shame, and it's not my place to do such damage to someone's reputation, but the individual just said, well, what does he know? Well, look at him. He basically said it underneath his breath to one of my work colleagues, and always stuck with me. And yeah, I basically took that on board. Obviously I was on my stand, I was selling my clothing, and was quite excited by the hype of it all. And it's quite sad really, because there I was, quite high body fat, probably about 28% body fat, I'll be honest. But I was fit as anything. I was able to do pull-ups, I was very strong, I could still run, I was still fit, and I really took it to heart. So when a female friend of mine wanted to do a competition for the first time, I said, you know what, actually I'll do it with you. And my whole body shape changed. The benefits of doing strength training and being very strong in my throughout my whole early, mid and late 20s was that I'd built up a lot of muscle. But I went from 17.5 stone to about 13.5 stone within a 5-month period. I spoke to a few friends who are pro and amateur bodybuilders. I also spoke to my cousin who competes with NABBA, and I spoke to a few other professional athletes as well. I went through my whole nutrition, went to eating 6-7 meals a day, 30 supplements, cardio regularly. And where I went wrong with the first show, I went too cardio heavy. So I did what a lot of people would refer to as I had too much muscle dystrophy. So in other words, I wasted a lot of muscle, a lot harder muscle at that, because I just went too gun-ho crazy on the cardio. I then did another show, did the WBFF, and my knowledge over the last 2 years in competing has evolved that I know more now from the last few years of competing about nutrition, about the mindset, about being focused, about hard grit determination, about new training ideals, strength training, a whole host of things than I ever did previously. Because I now have the vision to train more harder to compete against some of the best athletes on the planet in terms of physique competing, and I'm sticking with the WBFF, and over the next so many years I plan to compete abroad. And physique competing for me, it's not so much about the ego trip, it's not so much about the fancy trophies and the kudos and whatever else you can get from the fitness industry. It's something that I want to do each year, maybe at least once a year, just to give myself that focus. But also, if you've ever seen your body in its best shape, you will not relate to the experience of doing a physique show. So there's nothing better than seeing your body in its leanest, fittest form. And the amount of training that I put through for these shows, it's crazy. I remember for my last show I was doing about 25 to 30 hours a week exercise, about 30 different supplements and about 7 meals a day, and pure dedication for months. And with this newfound knowledge, each time I do a show, I can reapply it. But also because I've gone through the physical heartaches and I found quite difficult sometimes, I can keep reapplying myself. So I plan to do it more for myself, and it really does help with it helps with a good focus as well. I find that when I really get my teeth into it and I combine that with my work, I just get so focused and so motivated by it all that I just put a set of blinkers on and just go for it. So I guess if you're looking at doing a physique show or bikini competing or anything to do with aesthetics, try and take some of the following tips. First and foremost, don't sell your soul, find a purpose. In other words, there's got to be more of an underlying reason for you wanting to do such an event than to just simply show off your body. Do it for yourself. So that should be your #1 focus. Do it for you. Also, try not to compromise your health over vanity. So I do meet a lot of people who are really lean, look amazing because of these abs and whatever else, but they're actually really unhealthy. In many cases, drugged up to the eyeballs and malnourished, or they've gone the other extreme where they're so focused with every health element that they don't have a life. So again, there's some good tips there. Like tonight, I'm going out for a meal, I'm having a glass of wine. Tomorrow, I'll have a nice homemade meal, and possibly Sunday also. And it's by having that work-life training balance that it's really helped me understand that I can carry on doing these shows, but also have a life at the same time. And I think I'm going to finish on this point. A lot of people look at us fitness fanatics and think, oh well, that individual must be boring, they don't have much of a life. Take it from me, I've been a DJ for 18 years, and I used to go out 3-4 nights a week for about 8 years. If I wasn't DJing, I was out partying, and I did that throughout my whole late teens, early 20s. And once you've been to pretty much every decent nightclub there is in the UK, abroad, Vegas, the likes of full moon parties in Thailand and whatever else, you've kind of done it all. And the older you get, the more you think, right, I'll go out occasionally. Also, when it comes to doing activities, you want to do more exciting activities than do the same boring thing. To me, the thought of sitting in the same pub each night just doesn't appeal at all. And also, personally, I'm very much into my own thing as well. So I like being around people, but also I like time by myself as well. And my lifestyle's a lot different to anyone else's, and I actually really like what I do. I've got a good balance with my work, my friendship circles, my family, and I try and have a balance with my fitness. I know it might seem that I'm quite extreme because in my off season I might do 10 hours a week exercise, but to a competitive athlete, like examples, Team GB athletes, 10 hours a day is nothing. They'll smash more than that in 2 days. So there's some good tips in that video, and I'm just highlighting the reasons why I personally compete, why I'll continue to compete. And if you want to follow more of my YouTube videos, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Have a great day, guys. Keep subscribing.